Hey, what's going on guys, Tanmay here, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna show you the DLog M color profile on the DJI Action 4 action cam, and we're gonna go through a series of footage shot in different scenarios, different lighting conditions, indoor, outdoor, low light, harsh sunlight, etc. I'll show you the ungraded footage as well as the color graded footage, and we'll talk about the 10-bit DLog M color profile in detail in this video. So with that being said, let's get started. Now before I show you the different footages shot in the DLog M flat color profile and show you the comparisons, if you guys are new on this channel, my name is Tanmay Sakpal. I like to make tech and gadget reviews, smartphones, drones, cameras, and I'm kind of like a geeky nerd about them. So I share my user experiences and reviews about these devices. So if you like such content, definitely subscribe on this channel and turn on the notifications. Now for those who are subscribers on this channel, you know that recently I purchased the DJI Action 4. I've already made a detailed review about it. So in case if you're looking for a latest action cam, you guys can check out this one because this is really a good action cam and a good option. Now having said that, in this video we're going to focus on one of its unique features, that is the 10-bit color profile which comes with the DLog M footage. In fact, the footage that you are seeing is actually being recorded by the DJI Action 4 itself in 4K with the DLog M 10-bit color profile, and you're seeing the color graded version. I'll show you the ungraded version as well. But before we proceed, let's just understand what is 10-bit, what is DLog M, just in the basic layman terms. I mean, it could be a complete separate technical video, and there are many videos that explain in detail what is 10-bit video, what is 10-bit footage, what is a log footage. But just for the beginners and amateurs like you and me, majority of the audience, basically 10-bit footage has more color information compared to 8-bit footage. 8-bit has around 256 million colors, whereas the 10-bit video has over 1 billion colors, basically 1024 shades of a particular RGB versus 256 shades when it comes to 8-bit video. That just means you have a lot more color information, lot more colors and shades of colors to play around with. And when it comes to log footage is nothing but a very unsaturated and zero contrast kind of footage, which editors and colorists prefer in post-processing. When they are editing the video, you can push the video and get a particular cinematic look out of it. So let's say you are shooting a cinematic B-roll where you want a very moody look, where you want dark and rich colors, or maybe you want a very bright and saturated look. So log footage basically is a completely flat, unsaturated and very low contrast footage which has a lot of dynamic range, which has these details captured in a much better way, such that a colorist or a video editor can take this footage and later on change the colors and push the video according to their needs. Okay, so basically log footage captures more dynamic range in the highlights and shadows, and then later on you can retain and get a lot of details out of this footage. Now again, you can check out what is log footage in detail. There are many videos that explain a lot more better technically, but let's actually now see the footage where I'll show you the ungraded log footage, and then I'll do some post-processing onto it, and then I'll show you the color graded footage. Now do note that I'm not a professional colorist. In fact, I'm recently just started playing around with this log footage, so don't mind if the colors are off. I'm just trying to show you the difference between log as well as color graded footage. So basically I've just played around with a little bit of saturation, a little bit of contrast here and there, and mostly the exposure. Okay, so that's the only thing. I've not tried to give it a particular look. I've not tried to import or add some LUTs or some other color profiles. I've just dabbled around with basic color editing. Alright, with that being said, let's start off with some daylight or natural light footage where there is ample amount of light outdoors. So in this footage you can see I'm outdoor, and this is the ungraded one, and now you can see the color graded footage as well. So this is the color graded one, and then I'll show you the side-by-side comparison between the ungraded DLog M log footage, which is on the left, and on the right hand side you can see the graded color, which is much more punchier, much more contrasty. So here's my dog Shiro. Again, this is ungraded 4K 10-bit. This is outdoors in bright light, and now the graded version. I've just raised the saturation a little bit of contrast, and I have dabbled around with the exposure. So this is what you can expect. This is the side-by-side comparison. So this is how your footage can look, especially when you're outdoors in bright light. This is during the afternoon time. There was some work going on where a stage is being created. This is during the evening time, kind of moderate light. The sun has just set, but there's still ample amount of light. This is ungraded one. Now let me show you the graded footage. I'm accompanied by my dogs. So this is the graded version. Let's see the side-by-side comparison. So you can see in the ungraded version, we have very less contrast, very less saturation. The colors are looking washed out. That's what an ungraded log footage generally looks like. The colors basically look very flat, very washed out and very unsaturated, as well as there is no contrast. But the graded one looks much better and much true to life. And the good part about this is you can push these colors according to your needs. Okay, so you can change the color temperature, you can change the sharpening, you can change the exposure, you can change the highlights, the shadows, the mid-tones separately in the post-processing software. This is during the evening time. The sun is starting to set and kind of like a low light situation outdoors. This is the graded version. As you can see quite a lot of grains when I try to push it with the exposure. If you see it in the shadows, but still a lot of shadow detail is retained. You can see the side-by-side comparison. In the graded version, I've tried to raise the exposure in the shadows, but it turns out a little grainy because ultimately it's an action cam. This is again an evening shot. This is during the festival of Navratri in my society, and this is the graded version. Again, I've raised the exposure a little bit, I've raised the saturation, and you can do that individually with the highlights, the shadows, as well as the mid-tones. So this is in the outdoor situations, late evening kind of low light situation because the sun is starting to set. Now let's take a look at the indoor scenarios. So this is indoors but in artificial light. This is the color graded version. And let's do a little side by side as well. So in artificial lights in indoors, if there is ample amount of light, then definitely a lot of details is being captured because the Action 4 has a larger sensor compared to the predecessor, that is Action 3. So definitely performs much better in low light compared to other action cams like GoPro or previous generations of DJI Action. So that's one thing that they've focused to improve the low light on action cams, because action cam footage has one major weakness, that is the low light performance. Now here's again another scenario where my friends were playing football. This is outdoors during the night time, but there's ample amount of artificial light. You can see there are floodlights going on. This is the color graded version, and I've pushed the saturation quite high over here. I've brought down the exposure for shadows, raised a little bit of exposure for mid-tones as well as highlights, and you can see the side-by-side comparison. Yes, there will be a lot of grains, but there is also ample amount of details, so the footage is not looking that mushy how it looks like generally in other action cams. This is a very low light situation where it's night time. This is the ungraded version of a temple, and let me show you the graded version. One thing I noticed is in the extreme highlights, the details are lost, so you can't see what's written on the signboards because of the light. In the ungraded version, I think you can see a little bit of text but when I raise the highlights too much, the light becomes overexposed. This is a footage of Navratri in my society, ungraded footage, and let me show you the color graded one. This is the side by side comparison. So this is the night time, but there is a lot of artificial light, so I could push the colors pretty well and the colors turned out to be amazing. That is because of the 10-bit footage, and that can be seen over here because there are a lot of colors in this video and they turned out really good when I try to raise the saturation and play around with the colors and the footage. So this is a good example of how a 10-bit footage can be much better than 8-bit. Do note that most computers or most monitors and screens are only compatible with 8-bit video, so it doesn't matter until you are watching this on a high resolution HDR monitor. That's when you'll actually see the difference. One easy difference to spot between 8-bit and 10-bit video footage is something called as banding, where you can see multiple layers of a particular color in 8-bit footage very distinctly. However, that difference is very gradual and subtle when it comes to 10-bit because there are more shades of that particular color, so the bands are not that obvious. And lastly, this is just a very extreme low light situation where you can see some kids playing football and there is only one halogen floodlight which is acting as the key light, but apart from that it was very dark. Even then you can definitely see the guys playing football over there. I won't say this is very sharp image or very detailed image, but at least you can see what's going on, and as I said, this is an extremely low light situation. Alright, so this was the DLog M footage, the comparison between the graded and ungraded version, and this is what you can expect in different scenarios. Let's say you're indoors, you've already seen what indoor footage would look like. In fact, right now you're watching at the DLog M footage being shot in a home environment with a key light and artificial light setup. Okay, so this is a controlled environment and this is how the footage looks like. I think it's looking pretty good. We also saw the outdoor footage in high contrast or harsh sunlight situation during the daytime. We saw footage during the evening time, outdoor footage. We also saw low light footage during the night time. Alright guys, this was something that I wanted to show you guys so that you guys understand how your footage would look like if you're gonna use the DJI Action 4 in similar scenarios. So let me know in the comments how this video was. Do share your thoughts about the footage. What do you think about the footage? And if you have any queries, you can put them in the comment section. I'm gonna make more videos about this action cam and try to use it in real world scenarios and give you my user experience. Alright, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.